Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to the webinar. I'm Anne-Marie Concepcion, and let's jump right into Adobe InDesign and talk about some of the tips that I want to share with you. Now, these are not like how to create a paragraph style or how to create a character style. These are some of my favorite tips that go beyond the basics. The first one that I want to cover is Redefine Style. And this document that you're looking at is an actual live client file. I was working with them over the past few weeks and helping them with their workflow. This is one of their documents, one of their InDesign pages. And yesterday when we were talking, they said, what about our paragraph and character styles? Are they set up correctly? Because we want to redesign this page. This is from 10 years ago. And I was looking at it and I said, this is going to be a perfect example from my webinar tomorrow. Do you mind if I use it? And they said, fine. So thank you very much. It's called Learn 25 is the name of the company, but let's zoom in and see what the problem is. First, let me turn on Invisible. So I'll go under Type and go down to Show Hidden Characters so we can see what's happening here. And I click inside one of the paragraphs and I look at the paragraph style panel. There's a lot of paragraph styles in this document. And look at the style for this one. It's called Body Text 10.5 Plus. Now, I'm not a big fan of styles that have the specs of the fonts because sometimes it doesn't make much sense. If you just want something to be body text, it's body text. But I guess this group sometimes switches between different sizes. The problem here is the plus symbol. And if I click in other paragraph styles, you can see a plus symbol there. And if I click down here, let's see, in 12 to 25-minute lectures, there's a plus symbol there under topic header, R plus. These pluses mean that somebody applied the basic formatting as defined by the paragraph style, and then they applied manual formatting on top of it. So this might have nothing to do with what the original style looks like. And if you hover over the plus symbol, you can see a little pop-up that lists what is changed from the basic definition. So here it says the size was changed to 11 points, the leading to 13 points, and some other things. Now, as I told my client, as I tell you, take a look at your documents, click inside some text, and look at the paragraph styles panel. If you see a few of them or more with plus symbols, they are really, in my opinion, they're basically useless, because the point of using paragraph styles is so that you can format incoming text and make it look exactly how you want it to look. And if you don't remember to, after you apply the body text 10.5 style and then change the size to 11 and the leading to 13, if you forget to do all that manual formatting on top of it, your document's going to look weird. The body style is going to look different in many places, along with every other style that has a plus symbol. So the client said, well, so what do we do? Can we just like delete all these styles and start over? And my advice was, no, never do that. Instead, just use your friend Redefine Style. That's a command up here in the Paragraph Styles panel menu. It even has a easy to remember shortcut, Redefine Style. What Redefine Style does is it looks to see where your cursor's blinking. It looks at the style name, and if there are some manual overrides, in other words, if there's a plus, it incorporates those manual overrides into the definition of the style. And that way you can be sure that the style is exactly what you want. So for example, if I created a text frame here, and let's switch to basic paragraph, and I filled it with some placeholder text, and then I went down to find, where is this body text 10.5. So I'll scroll down, body text 10.5. Does that look anything like this? No. Well, one of the problems is that it's set up to split into 3 columns. But even if this wasn't split into 3 columns, the type doesn't look the same, right? So if I instead, with this cursor here, and come up over here and I say that you should, oops, there we go, redefine the style, then this text automatically matches this. Maybe it might be easier if I show you a different example, one that doesn't split into 3, like say this guy here. Here is, it's called Customer Favorite Plus. Customer favorite plus. There it is, way down at the bottom. So if I did this and then I filled it with some placeholder text and I said this should be customer favorite, that looks nothing like this, right? So instead, if I click here and I go to customer favorite, make sure that your cursor's blinking there so you see the plus, choose Redefine Style, then all the text throughout the document matches what the overridden style is. That's one of the fastest ways to clean up how styles are being used in your document. You don't need to start over if everything has a plus. Just decide what's the look that I like, and then redefine style based on that. Just put your cursor in the different paragraphs and just go through and redefine style. And now things are nice and clean. And if I decided that body text should be red, I could just double click this and everything would change to red. We don't have to worry about overrides interfering. So my friend, redefine style. Let's go on to another tip that I like. It's called based on. So here I've just flowed in some regular text and I'm going to select it all. Body copy's already been selected, and I'm just going to quickly apply some styles. Like this should be headline, this should be subhead, and there is another subhead here, and I think one more. That's good. Okay, and now if I wanted to change the font throughout the document, I would have to edit the subhead style, say that I want to change it to Myriad. Let's look at their fonts up here. Right now, everything's in Minion. I would have to change the subhead style. I would have to change the headline style, and so on. But because this document was created with based on styles, I don't have to do that. But what is a based on style? Well, let's go ahead and click. I'm going to click inside a subhead, and then we'll take a look at what is the definition of the subhead style. You can see that it is based on nothing. So what you could do is you could say the subhead style is based on any other style that's available in this document. And that would make the subhead style act something like a child of that parent one. Let's try another one. If I have, I want to say this is body copy first, and these should be no indent. I forgot about those guys. No indent and no indent. All right, what about no indent? That means no first line indent. If I edit that, you can see that body copy no indent is based on body copy. So when the user created the body copy no indent style, they made sure that it was based on body copy. And if I want to see, are there any other styles based on body copy, I could go ahead and right click and check it out. Or I could use this neato script that I'll show you in a second. But let's see, so if you take the time when you're creating your styles to create a base style, here the user used body copy as the base style, then that makes your work much faster in the future should you decide to make document-wide changes. Instead of having to edit every single style, you could just edit 1 or 2 or 3 of your base styles. And then that would ripple through all the other styles. So for example, if in body copy I change the font from Minion to Myriad and clicked OK, you can see that not only did body copy change, but also body copy first and body copy no indent. So we had 3 paragraph styles change automatically, even though I only edited 1. What you might want to do is create a style just called base that defines the base attributes of all the text, such as a font, typeface, and a size, and a leading, and an alignment. And then every style you create from that is based on base, so that if you ever need to make a change throughout the entire document of the attributes shared between the base style and the other ones, you just have to edit base style. Or you could do, I think most people just choose the style that's most often used in the document and use that as the style base. Now I mentioned this cool script. Let's say that you get a document and you have no idea if any of these styles are based on any others, which is very typical. There's a great script from intools.com called Show Paragraph Based On that I happen to have queued up here. If I double click it, it immediately puts up this dialog box, and wherever you see a little reveal triangle, that means that this is a base style. And if you click that triangle, it'll show you the names of the styles that are based on body copy. So here we can quickly see that we have 3 styles based on body copy, but none of the other styles are based on body copy, and that would help us out a lot. So if you go to intools.com, and actually let me do this really quick here. It's run by our friend Harbs, who's also going to be at Creative Pro Week, runs InTools, and it's a free script. Harbs also has a bunch of great plugins and scripts that are commercial, but this is a free one, and it's really useful. So check that out, show paragraph based on. Okay, so that's based on. Now let's talk about the one that we all love to learn about and that we can never remember how to work, and that is nested styles. I know a lot of InDesign users hear about nested styles, but they're not quite sure what it means. And I'm going to show you a really great example of when you might want to use a nested style. Let's zoom in to, this is a fake nursery catalog. We're going to zoom into the description of some of these flowers and shrubs. All right, and let me reset my workspace to clean things up. So the idea is take a look at the prices. First of all, there's the SKU number, and then the person is trying to shove the price over to the far right with a whole bunch of tabs. And now this has nothing to do with styles, but I want to mention that if you press Shift Tab, you'll get an automatic tab that will push the text to the right edge of the frame. And I believe that there is some indent coming in from the right edge of the frame. But in case you don't remember Shift Tab, you just go to Type, and I believe it's Insert Special Character Other. It's called a Right Indent tab. Okay? All right, so that's the first thing that you want to do is get rid of, if you're trying to do this, and oops, I Shift Tab. I pressed the wrong keyboard shortcut. So, okay, here we go. And now we want to apply, this is all part of a paragraph style called price before. And it says before because this is before we add nested styles. And so before you add nested styles, you might be going, okay, well, the SKU has to be bold. And then the 99 cents, the cents after the period needs to be superscript. Nothing else needs to be changed. So you can imagine if you had a catalog that had 400 pictures in there, what a pain it would be to do this. Instead, because we can detect a pattern, we can have InDesign apply this kind of character formatting for us automatically whenever we apply the paragraph style. Let's use this one to the right as an example. This paragraph style, again, is price before. So what we would do would be to edit price before and go down to drop caps and nested styles here. And in nested styles, it only has 4 things that you need to worry about. What is the name of the character style that should be applied up to or through how many of what? And in this case, we want the bold style, the bold character style. Now, if you forget and you come here and you realize, oh, I don't have a character style for this yet, you can always choose new character style, create it on the fly, and it brings you right back here, which I love. But we do have bold. So apply bold through the first word. And if you want to see if that's working, you can turn on preview at the bottom and then move this out of the way and just click in the gray area. Ah, that worked. Good. And now we want to apply subscript or superscript just to the sense, right? But how do we do that? Because we can't say find the sense and apply it. Instead, what we do would be to say don't do anything until you get to a period, right? Through one period. So don't do anything. Don't apply any character style. None is kind of like a skip in this instance. And then we're going to apply the third nested style, which is superscript, through, and you can just say, you know, whatever you want. I would guess I would say 2 characters like this. We don't want that, not 1 character, but we want 2. All right, there you go. So that worked. So that is the new definition for price. And now anytime that price has been applied to a paragraph, it automatically applies the character styles, as you can see here. So this was price before and price after. The price after was the end result that you see here. There you go. So that's, if you see a pattern, especially like in you know, tables and things like that, where you have a single paragraph that has to have multiple formatting, definitely think of nested styles. Another really great shortcut is Next Style. What is Next Style all about? Well, let's take a look. Here's another spread from that same catalog. I'm going to zoom in here to container plants. All right, now you can see this, this side of the spread, everything is formatted with basic paragraph. And on this side of the spread, everything has been formatted correctly. So this first one is section head. Now, if I applied, let's say that I'm typing this, okay, and I apply section head here, and then I hit return, plants are grown. Oh, that's not what we want. Well, why is that happening? Because if you look at the name of a paragraph style at the top, remember we looked at the based on part? Look at the next style. Next style by default is the same as the current style. Now that makes sense for things like body copy. Say that you're flowing in a long book, you always want the next style to be the same as the current style. But often with things like headlines or subheads, you want the next style to be something different. So what you could say is that the next style is, and we'll choose something here, I believe it's called section blurb, okay? And we'll click OK. Now, you might be saying, well, so what, Anne-Marie? It didn't happen. How come this is still section head, not section blurb? Because it, even though you choose next style, it doesn't apply to text that is already existing. It doesn't happen automatically, nor does it happen automatically to text that you flow in, like you import. It only applies to text that you type. See? So applies to text that you type. Now, I could count on one hand how many designers write the copy for their layouts, right? So how is this going to be helpful? Well, there is a sneaky way to let next style do the formatting for you. Let's select this. Let's get back to where we were here. All right. And this was basic paragraph. The idea is that once you float in the text, you could select at least 2 or more paragraphs in a row. So I'll select some copy from both of these paragraphs, and then find the paragraph style that you want to apply to the first paragraph in the selection. Do you remember what that was? I don't remember. Section head, I think it was, right? Yeah, section head. Okay, so come back up here and swipe over here. Now, you don't just want to click on section head, you want to right-click or control-click and choose Apply Section Head, then Next Style. And because we already defined what the next style should be, it did that formatting for us automatically. How about that? All right, now, look at over here, the descriptions underneath the herbaceous perennials. The first paragraph should be flower. The second one should be description, and the third one should be our friend price after. And now we have flowed in all of this information to these separate text frames. All of them have an overset, but we want to apply those 3 styles. Now, I've already set this up for next style, so I can right-click, or sorry, not right-click, Command or Control A to select all the text here, including the overset text, and we right-click on flower, or control-click, and choose Apply Flower, then Next Style. Ta-da! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be here all week. Isn't it amazing that what's happened here is not only did I apply the next style coming after flower to be description, but in the description paragraph style, I said the next style should be price after. Now, unfortunately, you can't shift-click all these frames and then right-click on the style. I tried it, it doesn't work. But what you can do is do it one time and then create an object style for it, okay? An object style can be applied to the entire text frame, something that you can select with the selection tool. That's what object styles get applied to, as opposed to selecting text. Now, check this out, that if I just click on this guy and choose flower text, holy moly, how'd that happen? Let's look at the definition for object styles for flower text. It is based on some other object style. I think that was probably a mistake, but what you want to look at is right here under paragraph styles. Now, normally, this is turned off. but you can turn it on and say, what is the first paragraph style in this text frame that you should apply automatically for me in InDesign? And you say flower. And if you were prescient enough to create next styles, you could turn on, and while you're at it, apply the next style. That is very cool. Now, this only works this magical way. I'm just shift clicking a couple of them. If it follows the pattern of one paragraph followed by another paragraph followed by another paragraph, if you had 2 paragraphs of description here, then it's not going to work because the second paragraph of description will get the price style. So in those instances, you do have to manually swipe over the text to limit it to where next style should be applied. But this is a perfect example of being able to create a pattern of different styles automatically following each other, and just a little bit of work in defining the next style will let you use these features. Love it. Okay, for our last trick, my last favorite tip, ladies and germs, is GREP styles. And GREP is another phrase like nested styles that InDesign users are always very curious about, but it just sounds kind of scary. I mean, the acronym alone, GREP, I mean, why can't they just call it like super styles or something like that? But GREP, it comes from programming. It stands for General Regular Expression Parsing, in case you're ever on Jeopardy and you get a chance to beat the guy who's been winning consistently, then you know what GREP stands for, and he might not know that one. GREP, you can find it in 2 places, and I'm not going to teach GREP here. I only have a couple more minutes left, but I just want to mention that if you go to the Find Change, you'll see a GREP tab here, and it lets you basically search for patterns, not simple text strings, but patterns, like, say, for example, apply no break, or I'm looking for something simpler. Here, find fractions. All right, so this will look for a digit followed by slash followed by 1 or more digits, and then you can do things like apply a format, or you can change it. So instead of typing in find 1/2, find 3/7, you could just say find any digit slash any digit and do something to it. So that's basically what GREP is for. Now, let's say that you are working for this cookie company, and every time that they mention the word pastille, all right, the kind of cookie, you need to make it bold. And I was actually doing this with a client where every time they mentioned the name of the company, they had to be in all caps. All right, think Pantone or something like that. And so part of their workflow was one of the last steps before it got sent to the printer or sent for final proof, is they would go to Find Change, and they would go to Text, and they would search for pastille, and then they'd say change the format and apply the character style bold to it. And they do that over and over again because if somebody edits and they add the word pastille again, then they may have missed it, so they keep having to do the same stupid Find Change over and over. If that is your case, you can use a GREP style, and you don't need to know a bit of GREP. It's really great. So for example, let's use the pastille. What is the paragraph style? Let's just choose this guy down here, body copy, all right, which is probably the base. I'm going to edit body copy, and I'm going to go right down to GREP style, which is right underneath nested styles. There's no GREP styles happening, so I'm going to say make a new GREP style, and it suggests to do nothing to numbers. It just has to have some sort of placeholder there. But what we want to do is we want to apply the bold character style. See, so like nested styles, what a GREP style does is it applies a character style when you apply this paragraph style automatically. And of course, you have to have the character style. And if you forgot, again, you could just do it on the fly right here. But I already had bold. Now, I want to apply it to the word pastille. Right? That's all. Let's see if it worked. It did. It applied it to the word pastille, but it didn't get pastille with an S. Okay? It also didn't get the lowercase pastille. So if you have variations of the word, you can just come back up here and separate them with what's called a pipe. And that is right above your backslash on your keyboard. You have to press the Shift key, and it's just a straight up and down line. So we also wanted to do pastilles. Right? Let's see if it got, there we go. So for pastille or pastilles, and why didn't it get pastilles? I believe that the longer ones have to come in front. And that was something that my friend Erica reminded me of this morning when I was practicing this. There we go. So the longer phrase has to come before the short one. Now, it also didn't get the little guys, so we'll have to say the pastille like that. And with the pipe, again, doing the long ones first, and there it gets the little ones. What about pastilles drost? Well, because it's long, it has to be in front as well. So we'll say pastilles drost. I'm just typing a normal space, but you use this pipe to separate things. There you go. So now, every time that you apply body copy, it's automatically going to make your word bold, or whatever it is that you want to do. Maybe you need to make it a different color, a different font, or do something. It's like an always-on live fine change that's happening, and you never have to worry about some of these things missing. Now, this is the very basic way to do GREP. You can make this into shortcuts, like you can do a little bit of code that says ignore, apply it regardless of the case, so you don't have to put lowercase and uppercase. And, there's other fun things you can do, but that is what you can do with a very basic GREP style in your paragraph style. Okay, so those are my 5 favorite tips. I have many, many more tips, but I had to choose just 5 for today, and we are almost at the end of the hour. I'd like to open it up for any questions. And see, I'm not sure how I can see questions. I think if I open up chat. All right. Fremo says, isn't the plus symbol also present when a character style is applied to some text in the paragraph? Great question. And no, it's actually not. So here, well, actually, let me do it. Let me do it on something a little simpler. This paragraph style is body copy, no indent. And if I select dark chocolate and apply a bold character style, I don't know if you guys can see this chat on top while I'm sharing. But anyway, so we'll say bold, and it makes it bold. Okay. And then we apply the bold character style. Okay, so now that has been applied from a character style. And if we go to the paragraph style and click inside the paragraph, even on top of the word dark chocolate, there is no plus symbol. But if instead I'm selected extra dark chocolate and I'm just pressing Command Shift or Control Shift B, then yes, you do get the symbol. Okay, so that's another good reason to use character styles instead of local formatting. And then Tom Eulert said, I'm pretty curious what this document looks like with style override active. I'm not sure. I think you guys were talking about the first one. So this is, oh, not that. There we go. This guy. Oh, this is actually, here, let me revert him. All right, and move you out of the way. So here's how it was when it first opened up. And then I come here and I choose show overrides. So yeah, isn't that fun? That's also a good way to quickly tell what's happening with your document, just to turn on this little guy, style overrides highlighter. And I've had people call me up or email me, how come everything is colored blue in highlighting? Well, if it looks blue here, but if you go to preview mode and the blue disappears, it is the style highlighter. It's not, it won't print or anything. It's just letting you know that, it's you messed up somewhere, or somebody who gave this to you messed up. I'm going to turn that off. I am going to see if there's any more questions. There's no more questions, and we're at the end of the hour. And I would thank you to Erica, who is CreativePro Network, in our chat for answering that question about the character styles in the plus. I hope you enjoyed this and got a lot out of it. Remember, they were redefined style, used based on styles. Look for opportunities to use nested styles and GREP styles and next styles whenever you can. If you take advantage of those features, it's going to save your carpal tunnel, and it's going to let you get out of work on time, and you'll be the hero in the office. All right. Thanks, everybody. We are done, and I'll see you later.